If you're the type to scroll through YouTube before going to bed, hoping to find a video that will help you fall asleep, you've come to the right place. In this video, I will be building our sleepy scholar Layla, but in soft spoken ASMR to help you fall asleep. If it's not yet nighttime for you, save this video to come back to it later when you're winding down for the night. Some special things to note about this video. There will be no mid-roll ads. All of the background music is from the Genshin OST, but I have specially chosen the most relaxing tracks that will hopefully induce calm. I've taken care to film most of the outdoor scenes in the nighttime to reduce the bright imagery as much as possible. Lastly, make sure to turn off autoplay in your YouTube player so that you will not be interrupted if you do fall asleep. So lie down, get comfy, and feel free to close your eyes and let my voice and the peaceful music help you relax. Good night and sweet dreams. So as I said, I will be building Layla in this video. My Layla is only level 20 right now, so I do have quite a few things to farm. Her boss material is the Perpetual Caliber dropped by the Aeon Blight Drake in Sumeru, and she will need the Nilode Pella Lotus. So I'm gonna be needing to choose a weapon for her, and then for her artifacts, it seems like the most common artifact set for Layla is the Tenacity of the Millilith. This is a really great supportive artifact set for your attack scaling DPS characters, so I think this will be a great option for her on my account. I'm seeing some other options here, 2-piece HP or 4-piece Noblesse, but they don't seem to be as common as the Tenacity. My Layla is C6, so thankfully she has her full kit unlocked, and then I'm also going to be needing to level up her talents. So for her weapon, I tried to take a look at what are some of her best options, and as usual, the Favonius sword is probably going to be the most useful. I'm seeing also the Dock Hands Assistant as an option because of the HP substat, but I think on my account, I might just be better off using a Favonius sword. Now I already have 2 copies of the Favonius sword at R5, but they are both being used and I often still have to share those 2 swords among multiple characters. So I've decided to build, or not build, but rather level up a 3rd Favonius sword. Now I only have 1 additional Favonius sword available for the refinement, so for now this will only be an R2. I don't think I have enough of the weapon enhancement material, so I'm gonna go ahead and farm that right away. I'm just gonna condense my resin here, and then I'll go on over to the domain. So for the Favonius sword, we do need to go to this Mondstadt weapon domain. I'm just using a bit of a Mizuki swirl team here with Layla, Escoffier, Nyaimiko. It's a bit of a random team, but sometimes I just like to use Mizuki whenever I can. I'll repeat the domain again, and since it is a 1.0 domain, it's pretty easy. I think my Yaimiko and Escoffier are doing plenty of damage to defeat the enemies fairly quickly. I think that should be enough for this farming. and let's try leveling it up. Hopefully I have enough materials to level it up. Usually for the first 20 levels or so, I like to just use the actual 3-star weapons that I have in my inventory, although it's probably easier to just convert them all into enhancement ores. I think in about my 2 years of playing this game, I've never had my weapon inventory be full. I'm just gonna keep on ascending and leveling this up. I run out of some of these mob drops, so I'm just gonna buy a bunch of it from the Stardust Exchange shop. Sometimes I forget that the Stardust shop exists. I should probably use it more often to kind of help reduce the amount of farming I need to do. Although sometimes I do find the farming to be quite therapeutic, especially because the overworld mobs are pretty easy. All in all, I don't mind it too much. I'm gonna need to go to the crafting table, so here I am in Sumeru City. I'll just craft some more of these items here to finish leveling up the Favonius sword. Okay, and I've got it to level 80, so these are just the final levels. I think for now I'll just leave it at level 80, but I realize that I have enough materials to ascend it to level 90, so I'm just gonna craft a few more of these mob drops, and then I guess I will ascend it to 90. But I'm just gonna leave the actual sword level at level 80 just to save some resources. And then going back to the artifacts, I've decided I wanted to use the tenacity of the Millilith artifact set. Unfortunately, I have 0 of this set because I have never farmed it before. I've never used it on any other characters, so I'm gonna be in for quite a lot of work. So now is day 2 of building Layla. I've decided to try not to use fragile resin or anything, so I'm not gonna rush the build. Today we're gonna go over to the Aeon Blight Drake over in Sumeru. However, in the earlier days, there was no teleport waypoint near the bosses, so I'm gonna have to go to the crafting table and craft myself a portable waypoint. I almost never use the portable waypoint, but it is a really nice item to exist in cases like these. And thankfully, it's not very expensive in terms of resources. But I'm gonna have to make my way there for the first time on foot, so that way I can place the waypoint down. I don't know if I've ever fought this boss before on my world, to be quite honest. I don't think I've leveled up any characters that use these drops. There's kind of this nice little pathway that seems to be taking me right to the boss cave entrance. Of course, on the way I do have to collect all of these sparkles. Okay, and here we are in the boss cavern. I think I'll go a little bit closer and place the portable waypoint down somewhere around here. I believe the portable waypoint lasts for 7 days, so that'll be plenty of time to build our Layla. I'm just gonna use this Skirk freeze team with Escoffier, Furina, Skirk, and Layla, of course. I do have to be careful with Layla though, so she doesn't die, although I'm sure her shield will be helpful. Layla is a really good teammate for Skirk teams, especially for free-to-play Skirk teams. If you're happening to use the Calamity of Ishu weapon on Skirk, Layla is a really good teammate for her in that case. And also, I'm sure all of you already agree, but Genshin certainly has one of the best video game soundtracks. I actually really enjoyed listening to their OST while sourcing the songs for this video. I wanted to mainly include piano tracks with little to no percussion, since for me, that always helps me fall asleep. I found that Sumeru had a good number of piano songs like that, which is perfectly fitting for this video. I actually haven't listened to Sumeru's soundtrack as much as I would like, because I feel like I kind of hurried through Sumeru's Archon quest in an effort to catch up to the present day. I also haven't explored Sumeru as much as other regions for the same reason. Hopefully I'll have the time to go back and explore some more so I can enjoy the soundtrack. I also found that Fontaine had a lot of soft, relaxing songs, and I actually really love Fontaine music because of the inspiration that it takes from classical music. Lustrous Stars from the Fontaine soundtrack, as well as the music from the underwater area and from Remuria, are some of my favorites. I'd love to know what your favorite relaxing Genshin OST is, because I think there's honestly way too many for me to choose from. So I think that is it for my resin for now. So next on the to-do list is to collect her regional specialties. Now, of course, for my exploration team, I'm gonna leave Layla on the team, and then I'll use Furina for the off-field damage as well as the water. Tighnari will display the specialties on the map, and for those of you who know me, I use Chaska whenever I explore. Now let's take a look at Layla's wing options. I really think that the wings of companionship are the right answer, although the wings of transient dreams fit her pretty well too. But I think something to do with the star and moon on the wings of companionship are just so fitting for Layla. And the colors match her beautifully. So these lotuses are pretty easy to spot from the sky, since they're in the water on top of these, green lily pads. I guess the only sort of inconvenient part is swimming in the water. Of course, I could use Furina to walk on the water, our dear Hydro Archon. Now, I haven't explored Sumeru in a while, and I have not explored Sumeru very much, so I don't quite know how to unlock this puzzle. I don't know if I've never done it before, or perhaps I just don't remember because it's been a while. Thankfully, I was able to find the information in the tutorials page. So it seems like we need a pyro character to cause some burning reaction on this stone here. So let me remove Furina really quick and add Arlecchino. Although I'm realizing Arlecchino might have been a bad move because I kind of need an enemy to activate her Bond of Life to get that pyro infusion. I'm just gonna look around for some enemies so that way I can use Arlecchino's skill, but I'm not really seeing anything. Although of course I will need to keep on collecting the lotus for Layla. I feel like I'm kind of wasting my time here looking for non-existent monsters. So let me just use Arlecchino's skill on the rock itself, but that'll only give me like one instance of pyro, and her cooldown is so long. I'm just gonna change her over to Mawika, who has a much better pyro application, at least just freely, without the use of a mob. Her motorcycle obviously offers plenty of pyro application. So I'm just waiting for these rocks to burn down. And now the ruin guard has finally been unlocked. So we'll just quickly get rid of this enemy. And then we got an exquisite chest from that, which is always nice. Now since that puzzle is finished, we shall continue with the search for the lotus. I've decided to put Arlecchino back on the team just because I wanted to use her in this video. Of course I love Mawika and she is very useful in exploration. Her attacks and her burst are really quite loud volume wise, and I didn't want any of her like attack sounds to be too loud. Now Miss Layla is swimming across the river to collect her own ascension materials. And then I think this is an Aranara here for one of those like mini Aranara puzzles. So let me just do this really quick. So they're just saying to remember the position of the pile of leaves, whatever that means. I actually had to do this puzzle 2 times because I wasn't sure if this was the pile of leaves or if it was this smaller pile here. I mean, to me, they kind of both look like leaves. But it is actually the larger pile of leaves like this one here. And we got a common chest from that. So just continuing on to the next location. There's this puzzle here, but to be quite honest, I don't really remember what to do with this, so I'm just gonna ignore it and move on. Trying not to waste too much time. I can always come back and explore Sumeru later. I feel like there's so few of these lotuses per location, so there's kind of a lot of traveling that we need to do. I thought there would be something here in this tree trunk, but it seems to be just some mushrooms. Nothing too special. Okay, and oh, the trampoline thing kind of got me. And then finally we have some enemies here where I can activate Arlecchino's Bond of Life. Although this water is kind of bothering me. I keep falling into the water. Arlecchino doing a beautiful dive there, 10 out of 10. Now moving on to the next location again. I think Sumeru in the nighttime is really beautiful. It really just looks like a peaceful forest. I'll just fight some of these fungi. It was kind of satisfying to like 1-2 shot these fungi with Arlecchino's pyro. Okay, so I seem to have collected everything here, but there is a Sealy here, so I'll just follow it to its home. And we got a common chest from that, which is fine. It was a pretty easy Sealy puzzle anyway. It didn't make me go out of my way too much. Now that I know how to unlock this bound ruin guard puzzle, I'll go ahead and apply some pyro to these rocks. And then I'm gonna need Tainari to open up this thing here. Let's finish this up quickly and go back to the nighttime. And it dropped an exquisite chest. Alright, so moving on to the next location to farm for the lotus. Seems to be in this underground area. However, I think it's inside of this locked cave situation. And I don't really know how to unlock it. Like I said, I don't really remember how to do a lot of Sumeru puzzles. I kind of looked through the tutorials page but couldn't really find anything, so I'm just gonna ignore this one and move on. Got a few more fungi here protecting the lotus. On my way to the next location, and I see a chest right here. I'm gonna try to figure out this puzzle. I guess I just have to light up these pillars. And then there's this like invisible pillar with this floating radish thing. The tutorial said I should use an electro character, so I'll just bring Miko onto the team, and finally with her help the pillar is unlocked. I'm kind of struggling to attack the pillar because it keeps auto aiming at the floating radish. But now that we got that chest, we can keep on going. Chaska back on the team. These lotuses are quite far apart from each other, and some of them are just like single lotuses in one spot. I feel like this is not the hardest material to farm, but certainly not the easiest. Also with all of the water here in the area. And then Sumeru I find is pretty tough to explore because of the terrain. Let's just keep going. I decided to bring Furina back on the team just for the walking on water. Yeah, I am having to travel to a lot of different locations for these lotuses. But let's see how much we collected so far. I don't think I finished it, but I did want to just level up Layla a bit so I can keep using her in the overworld a little bit more safely. And I do have enough of her materials to level her up to level 60, so that's great. I'll just go to the crafting table and craft some more of these cryo chunks to get one more ascension. And with that, she is level 70. I'm going to need a few more boss drops and some more lotuses to get her to Ascension 80. It is now day 3, and with my resin being replenished, we'll head back to the boss, using the teleport waypoint, of course. I'm just using the same team here, except this time Layla is a little bit leveled up, and her weapon is level 80 as well, although she has no artifacts yet. So I don't think you should take this as a good example of her personal damage. Okay, so I think I need to fight the boss 2 more times. This is our last battle with the Ascension boss, the Aeon Blight Drake. I can't believe this is my first time farming this boss on my account. Alright, we have just enough resin, and now we've completed collecting her boss drops. Okay, lastly, I just need to get a couple more of the lotuses to complete her ascension. And hey, there's a Dendroculus here, so of course I will be collecting that. We need about 10 more, or 9 more. I kind of like this random puddle here. It's like a really big puddle or a really tiny lake. It's kind of random, but I kind of like it. We are inching closer to the finish line for Layla's build. Okay, just need 4 more now. It's saying that there are some lotuses here in this cavern. I don't think I've ever been here before. Let's see what's happening in here. I see some electro slimes and putting Tainari into action, even though he's only level 20 and has no gear. Okay, and there's this trampoline thing here, the mushroom trampoline. So I'm gonna jump up there and see where it takes me. I'm sure it's just more into the cave, yeah. Oh, and I see a chest over there. So we'll just wipe out these hilichurls really quick. I really like how Layla's shield looks. It's kind of like a hand-drawn aesthetic. All of her attacks actually are kind of a hand-drawn crayon aesthetic. And nope, I did not expect death by electro crystal. Sorry about that, Layla. We'll just take out this last hilichurl and then unlock this exquisite chest. Okay, so going further into this cave, there are a few more puzzle situations going on here. And a hidden cave within the cave. Got some treasure hoarders here, so we'll take care of them. And another exquisite chest. There's a locked Sealy here, so we'll just let him go and see where it takes us. Okay, so it looks like it's coming over to this dendro pillar. Okay, so I guess the dendro pillar unlocked this gate. Maybe I can look for a dendro pillar at that gate that I went to earlier. So I'm getting quite distracted from my original journey here, which was to get lotuses for Layla, of course. I think I only needed like a few more. I'll just mark this location for now and come back to it later when I have some more time to complete this puzzle. Of course, we are still on the search for more lotuses. Now I only need one more, but it looks like there's no more in this area. So I'm just gonna go to the next location that is being marked. And of course, it's like extremely difficult to get to. Here is the final lotus for Layla's build. Of course, Layla should collect it herself since she's gonna eat them all. And there it is. Okay, let me do this challenge really quick. It's pretty easy. And following the easy challenge, we also get a common chest. Alright, so now back in Sumeru City, running back over to my bestie, the crafting table. We'll just craft a few of these chunks that Layla needs. And finally, we can ascend Layla to level 80. Then using up a bunch of books here, and there we have it. So Layla is fully ascended and fully leveled up, at least to the amount that I want. I don't think I'll level her up to 90 unless I find myself using her more often. Even though Layla is maxed in level, she is not yet complete in her build because she has 0 artifacts. Like I said earlier, I have absolutely 0 pieces for the tenacity of the millilith, so I've decided to come back to the crafting bench and use the strong box to collect these. I don't think that this artifact domain is super efficient, and I have so much extra pieces to use in the strong box anyway. But of course, the artifact strong box is just as much of a pain as artifact farming is. I'm gonna strongbox a couple of times, see if I get anything that's remotely usable. I don't need Layla to be on a perfect build as long as she's just able to do what she is supposed to do. So Layla is HP scaling for her shield, but she needs a lot of ER to be able to cast her burst. So let me just try leveling up a few of these flowers. My rolls are not super amazing right now, but like I said, I don't really need her build to be perfect as long as it is usable. Of course, the double defense always hurts. And I also reached level 10 friendship with Layla, so I was able to unlock her name card here. It's pretty cute and simple. And then we'll level up Layla's talents. I'm gonna place a focus on her shield and then also level up her burst. I already have plenty of the talent books saved up just from collecting them like over the months or from events and never really having a chance to use them. Okay, so now I think I will show you her final build. So she is level 80 and she is on a level 80 R2 Favonius sword. Hopefully I can increase those refinements in the near future. She is on the 4-piece tenacity of the millilith. Here are the substats. I placed a focus on HP, ER, as well as crit. And she is C6. And her talents, I have them at 1, 10, 9. Here is her final stats. I think it's pretty decent since she has over 200% ER and she has plenty of crit rate for the Favonius sword procs. I decided that I will not be providing an end of build combat showcase like I usually do in my build videos. I don't want to disturb you with extra combat noises if you've already fallen asleep or if you're on the verge. Anyway, I built my Layla to be a support character, so there's not a lot of super interesting things to see regarding her personal damage. I will mainly use her as a shielder and a tenacity enabler. I will leave you now with a few more minutes of relaxing music without my voiceover. I hope that this video helped you relax, and perhaps you're already in a deep sleep right now. If this video was helpful for you, maybe you can come back tomorrow to let me know. Have a good night, sweet dreams, and I'll see you next time.